I got apple pie!
Awesome!
Let's learn pi with pi. The radius is the distance from the center to the edge, and the circumference.
We're not doing that. Enter Archimedes, one of those Greek philosopher guys you're always hearing about. Born in Syracuse, Sicily, in what is now Italy, in 287 BC, Archimedes is regarded as one of the leading scientists in classical antiquity. So leading, in fact, that according to Polybius's The Histories, Archimedes designed several war machines to defend Syracuse against the Romans during the Second Punic War. That's physics. We're interested in mathematics. Before he died in 212 BC, still in Syracuse, he contributed many things to mathematics, like approximating pi, finding the area of a parabola, and a few more things I can't comprehend. We'll be focusing on his theorem that the area of any circle is equal to the right-angled triangle, in which one of the sides of the right angle is equal to the radius and the other to the circumference of the circle. Archimedes was born way before our modern way of expressing mathematics, so we would express this as the area of a circle equals half times its circumference times its radius, since the area of a triangle is half times its base times its height, and the base of this triangle is the circumference of the circle, and the radius is the height. Because the circumference equals 2 pi r, we can expand the area of a circle as half times 2 times pi times r times r. And that boils down to pi r squared, which you might be more familiar with. Now to explain this,
Loop and oops. Yep. Yep, that's easier.
imagine that you cut a circle into pieces and try to arrange them into a rectangle. As the pieces get smaller and smaller, the rectangle looks more and more like a rectangle until eventually, when the pieces are so small that they cannot be divided anymore, basically you divided the circle by infinity, the result is a perfect rectangle of height r and the length of half the circumference. Actually, this is kinda the basis of integral calculus, but we won't get into that because I don't know. Sorry. How can we prove this? Well, Archimedes used a method like this, which I'll just show on the screen now. Thank goodness for plagiarism, and also laziness. From this, we can learn that Archimedes wasn't afraid to get out of his comfort zone. He divided a circle by infinity. In general, Greeks didn't really like infinity. For example, a guy named Zeno of Elea wrote a little tale that goes something like this. But Tortoise challenged Achilles to a race, claiming that he would win as long as Achilles gave him a small head start. Achilles laughed at this, for of course he was a mighty warrior and swift of foot, whereas the tortoise was heavy and slow. "How big of a head start do you need?" he asked the tortoise with a smile. 10 meters, the latter replied. Achilles laughed louder than ever. "Surely you will lose, my friend, in that case," he told the tortoise. "But let us race if you wish it." "On the contrary," said the tortoise, "I will win, and I can prove to you it by a simple argument." "Go on then," Achilles replied, with less confidence than he felt before. He knew he was the superior athlete, but he also knew the tortoise had the sharper wits, and he had lost many a bewildering argument with him before this. "Suppose," began the tortoise, that you give me a 10-meter head start. Would you say you could cover that 10 meters between us very quickly? Very quickly, Achilles affirmed. And in that time, how far should I have gone, do you think? Perhaps a meter, no more, said Achilles after a moment's thought. Very well, replied the tortoise. Now that there is a meter between us, and you would catch up that distance very quickly? Very quickly indeed. And yet, in that time I shall have gone a little way further. So that now you must catch up that distance, yes? Yes, said Achilles slowly. And while you are doing so, I shall have gone a little way further, so that you must catch up the new distance. The tortoise continued smoothly, but I'm not. Achilles said nothing. And so you see, in each moment you must be catching up the distance between us, and yet I, at the same time, will be adding a new distance, however small, for you to catch up again. Indeed, it must be so, said Achilles warily. And so you can never catch up, Tortoise concluded sympathetically. You are right as always, said Achilles sadly, and conceded the race. So, you young whippersnappers, don't be afraid to do whatever, learn calculus or however your heart desires, yeah! We can also learn that Archimedes dabbled in a little bit of everything, from physics to mathematics to war machines! So you shouldn't limit yourself to one thing just because you feel like you need to do it the most and get stuck. Look everywhere your curiosity tells you to, and you might just find the insight you need. Doesn't just apply to mathematics, you know. And now, thanks to Archimedes, we knew the area of a Python, the area of the Roman Colosseum, how far Sierra Leone is from being a perfect circle, and the area of a theoretical circle with the diameter of the Earth, because the area of a sphere is not under my jurisdiction.